Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something kind of fun. We're just getting to that point now where it's starting to get a little warm, a little hot and sweaty, especially here in Dallas, but I know summer is on its way for everyone. So it's nice to be able to lighten up your makeup, maybe not using less makeup, but using some products that are going to withstand the heat, withstand what happens to our skin when we get a little bit sweaty, and that's exactly what I have on today. So if you want to know what to do, stay with me because we're going to start right now. So let's get started with this look. First of all, my eyelids have already been primed with my Painterly paint pot. I am going to use that in the summer just to make sure my eyeshadow stays in place when it gets pretty sweaty out. And my face, I have my primer on my face as well. So we're just going to get started with the makeup. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my concealer. So let me grab that real quick. And I am going to use my Jeffree Star Concealer because I'm pretty excited about that. Gorgeous wand, right? How beautiful is that? So anyway, let's use a little of this. And I'm going to put it in my inner corner, under my eyes a little. And then let's blend that. I know people are already complaining about the shade range in the concealers that he had brought out, but I'm happy because I was able to find my color. It would be very, very nice if everyone could find their color. And, you know, considering that this is the very first time he's brought out concealers, there are quite a few of them there. So I'm not really disappointed in that. Now, I know Jeffree Star well enough to know that he is going to be adding more colors to this once he figures out which colors are necessary, once he makes a decision on the colors that he wants to offer. Now, I'll tell you right now, wow, my eyes look like little pea holes in the snow. This concealer, it has a really good feel to it. It's not feeling wet or slippery as I blend it in, which is a really good thing because in my experience, the wetter the concealer, the more moisturizing the concealer, the more likely it is to accumulate in the little lines around our eyes. So I'm going to take a look at this real quick and see what's going on here. Now I'm going to keep blending. I like the coverage that I've gotten from it. It's very, very brightening. You can see my eyes look amazing. I mean, as far as the brightness around them, actually so bright that it makes my eyes look teeny, teeny weeny. So we got to fix that real quick. So this is going to be the first step towards our lightweight makeup for summer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder, and I am using shade 1, which is her fair shade. And I'm just going to set this a little bit around my eyes right up close to my lash line. Now, most people would do this with a Beauty Blender sponge. I don't want to dampen a sponge to do that, so I'm just going to use my Fenty brush, which I always use for my concealer and for my setting of the concealer. And this is actually her concealer brush that I also use for eyeshadow. Okay, so concealer is on and looking pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do for my foundation, wow, these eyes. I'm just going to go into my Chanel powder foundation. And I'm using shade R32 because it's got a little bit of pink to it. And I like a little pink on my skin. So there we go. We're just going to put a little of this on. This works well with a brush too, but I want to use the sponge that came with it so we can see how well it works. This product's been out for a very, very long time. They've changed the name a couple of times and kept the packaging the same, which is great because I love that giant mirror in there. And this is covering my skin really nicely. Wow, look at that. I'm pretty happy about that. Let's get a little up here. I tend to not use much on my forehead because my bangs pretty much cover everything, but I'll go up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to use a liquid foundation. I'm just using the powder because when it gets hot outside and I start getting kind of sweaty and feeling the heat, I don't want to feel like I've got a wet bunch of goop on my face. And regardless of how high-end and how fabulous a foundation is, the last thing a normal to oily or an oily person wants is to feel like they can just mop off all the goo from their face. So we're going to try to not let that happen. I am very sure I'm going to want to use a setting spray over top of this, and I honestly will be carrying it with me wherever I go just in case I need it because I'm using so much powder. But so far, when I get close, take a look. When I get close, it's looking pretty good. This powder foundation covered really nicely, and the concealer is looking pretty good so far. So let's keep going. I'm gonna use a really lightweight powder blush. I'm gonna use the one from CharlotteTilbury, and this is, let's see which one. I'm using the one called First Love, and as you can see, it's super, super light in color. So let's do a little of that. We'll do her little swirl and pop kind of thing. Little blush. Again, powder on top of powder is great for blending. So putting a powder blush over top of a powder foundation just makes the blush go on like a dream. Okay, there we go. So we've got a little bit of blush. I don't want too much. Remember, it's summertime. We're trying to lighten things up a little bit. And I can always add more in the end if I need to. Good. Okay, so I'm back with my Marc Jacobs liner. So let's put this on. I love the consistency of this. It's a kind of a gel formula. It's very soft. It goes on really nicely. It doesn't need to be super, super dark. Normally I make it that way just because that's the kind of eyeliner person I am. Apparently I'm also a very messy eyeliner person because this is just all over the place, but that's okay. I'll blend it out in just a second. Let's grab that inner line. So with my eyeliner blender brush, my little angled brush, I'm gonna soften this a little. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here because I like a lot of powders and things when it's really, really hot and sweaty outside, because on my skin they tend to stay in place a little bit better. Now, here's where the contradiction comes in. I'm going to use a new product that I had just picked up. It's new to me. It's not a new product. It's a CharlotteTilbury cream eyeshadow because the color's just so, so pretty. I want to try it out and see if it works. The CharlotteTilbury Rose Gold Eyes to Mesmerize, and I love this color so much. That is just such a gorgeous rose gold color. My same crazy brush that I love so much from Fenty. I'm going to take a little of this, tiny bit. Actually, I'm going to use the back of my hand too because I don't want to take too much of it. And this is just going to go above the eyeliner on my lid. Get a little more. Now I can actually use a mirror and see what I'm doing. Probably got a little bit too much there, but that's okay. I will blend it around. It's a really pretty color. Now, I did use this the other day, and it was pretty hot here in Texas the day I used it, and it stayed in place like crazy. It didn't crease at all. Now, I do use, like I said, I use the Painterly paint pot as my base, and that makes your eyeshadow stay on really well anyway. But because I was putting a cream over top of it, this cream, I wasn't sure how that was going to work out for me, but it did stay on really nicely. So in addition to this, I'm going to use the Pillow Talk eyeshadow quad, which is one of my go-to eyeshadow quads lately. I absolutely love it. So let's see. First thing I'm going to do is take the little highlight one, do my brow. And I have not done my brows yet. I know they look horrible. I'll do them in a minute. Okay, highlighter. And I'm going to take the combination of these two, just kind of mix them on my brush, kind of sloppy, but mixed. And I'm going to use this, put a little dab in my crease. Just sort of blend that back and forth. Looking pretty good, right? Just minimal, not a whole lot of makeup today. Other than, you know, that eyeliner I can't seem to get away from. I'm going to go off camera for just a second, and I'm going to do my brows real quick, and you will see a huge difference. So hang on one second, and you'll see some decent brows. Can't stop using the shadow though. It's so pretty. If you haven't gotten Pillow Talk, get it. It's just such a great everyday one when you don't want to look like you're wearing a whole bunch of makeup, but you need something on your eyes. So give me just a second and I'll be right back. Boy, nothing like brows and mascara to make your eyes look good, right? So much better. I want to tell you about something cool I found though. And I got this brush. It's from Kat Von D. the bristles have spaces in between, and I think the idea of this brow brush was to give you that microbladed eyebrow look because of where it puts the product. I was never able to get it to do that. But what I love about this brush is the bristles are stiff enough that I can use it to spread my lashes apart if they get a little clumpy, which I think is kind of cool. So I use it for that. It's a neat little brush, 20 bucks or so at Sephora. It works for that. That's why I like it. I know not a lot of people like Kat Von D because she chose not to vaccinate her child, but that brush is still good and I will still use it. So let's see what we want to do next. Oh, I have to tell you, the mascara that I use and I'm going to be using this summer is from MAC, and it is the Extended Play Giga Black Lash. It's this one. I love this one because when I wash my face, it comes off in little tubes, so that's a good thing. And it does not smear on me. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that that is always a huge issue for me, that the smear of the mascara just drives me insane. So I'm gonna use this all summer because I know it's gonna stay in place for me. So what I'm gonna use on my lips isn't anything fancy. It's just a basic rose gold shimmery color. It's actually looking quite peach in the video, but it's more pink than peach at home where I am. Pretty, that's a really pretty color. So this is my basic look that I'm gonna be wearing for summertime if I go on vacation, if I do anything where I know it's gonna be hot and sweaty, because I think this is really gonna stay in place well. So I will list everything that I used below for you. I'll figure out what lip product that was and list that for you too. But honestly, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I could probably use a little more mascara, so what? That's another coat of mascara, that's no big deal. So since we're going with this whole rose gold look, I wanna use a tiny bit of highlighter. I don't want too much. The whole purpose of this look was to not look shiny and oily, so I don't wanna use so much highlighter that it defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing here. What I am, however, gonna do is use a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold highlighter, and one of the colors, here, let me show. One of the colors in here, the middle one, is a rose gold color. And since we're going with so much rose gold, I thought that would be a fun one to use. So let me do that real quick. Do a little here. Just a tiny bit. One of the things I like about this particular palette is it's not crazy over the top, icy, sparkly highlighter. It's very, very subtle. So it just gives you that pretty little subtle highlighter look without going insane. And it's not, and as I said, it's not going to defeat the whole purpose of this look of not looking sweaty and icky in the summer when the temperature goes up. But my skin looks good and it feels like I have absolutely nothing on. All I have on is some powder. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. There's some more things coming. It's going to be a little bit more exciting, I hope. I was listening to someone on YouTube the other day, and it was one of those drama channel type things. And this guy was saying that the reason people aren't watching these new YouTubers is because their channels are also boring. So, you know, I'm doing what I can. I'm not here to entertain the world with fireworks and, you know, all that kind of stuff. What I'm here to do is teach women of a certain age what to do with their makeup. So if you're into that and you like that, subscribe, because there's going to be a whole lot more coming. Thank you so much. Have a great day.